and then tells you to go home and put on better clothes. It's actually been closed up for about the last 2 months. They're doing some extensive renovations and stuff. Trying to figure out what to do with their parking lot here. I think the little odd contraption you see there to the right, they're trying to cover up those posters, something that look like rocks. So. But they're planning to open up soon. It'll be open only on Friday and Saturday nights. Very, very expensive. I got a toaster. It's an 18-room mansion. The servants' quarters behind the house is a 5-bedroom house. Now, the city has their eye on this place. They think it would make a nice museum for Central Gardens. A lot of the wealthiest, most famous and influential families of Memphis history lived here in the neighborhood. And the city would like to have a museum about them and thinks that would make a nice spot for it. Well, Miss Beverly's still living there. At the ripe old age of 97. She's on her 3rd husband now, but still living in the same house she got as her first wedding present. Can't really say that I blame her. And here we have on the right the biggest dog I stop for strange reasons sometimes. The other day on the tour we stopped and looked at the ugliest pair of pants we ever saw in our lives. Big dog's not that odd in comparison. Now here on the right we have the Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception and Immaculate Conception High School for Girls. This is where Priscilla Presley attended high school. The cathedral here is just one of the many magnificent old churches here in the city. Now, Priscilla was not from Memphis. Elvis met her when he was in Germany in the military. She was the daughter of a U.S. Air Force captain. She was 14 years old at the time that she met Elvis, but unlike Jerry Lee Lewis, Elvis had sense enough not to marry a 14-year-old girl. So Priscilla came back to Memphis under the guardianship of Elvis's parents and attended high school here at Immaculate Conception. It's a Catholic girls' school. Now, Priscilla was not Catholic, but this is where all the rich folks of Memphis at that time sent their daughters to go to high school to get that nice, strict upbringing by the nuns. So Priscilla attended high school here, graduated from here. The graduation ceremony held in the church building there to the right. Elvis brought her to her graduation. He did not attend, though. He knew he'd become center of attention wherever he went. Didn't want to take away from what he felt should be her night. So after graduation, he picked her up, took her and several of her friends out for a night on the town. And later, when Priscilla turned 21, downtown and midtown areas began in earnest about 15 years ago. And I think you can see they've been very successful. The city gave tax breaks to folks to move back into these homes and get them refurbished. It's a thriving neighborhood once more. A lot of young, wealthy, yuppie families living here now. You can see one of the servants' quarters there to the left. Town areas in the 60s and 70s was not just due to the declining cotton market. It was also the long string of corrupt, do-nothing mayors we had in the mayor's office. It was rechartered. We elected a guy named Edward Hull Crump to the mayor's office. He's better known as E.H. Crump, but really best known as Boss Crump. One of the most notorious governors of the state of Tennessee throughout the power of the Crump machine. But even after the breakup of the Crump machine in the 1950s, people in Memphis still got very used to seeing the same old tired, corrupt names on the ballot, which is one of the many things in the city named for Boss Crump. Now, these days, we've got better leadership in the mayor's office. The change came, really, in 1976, when a notorious local character by the name of Prince Mongo decided to run for mayor. He also claims to be from the planet Zambodia. He ran for mayor promising to outlaw the wearing of the shoes within the city limits, to use taxpayer money to build a UFO landing strip and welcome center.
Really? Yeah.
On the page version or for...
Well, for the American Forces Network, yeah,
was that your tour to be the broadcaster?
No, but it went into broadcasting. Because I was already in broadcasting, I was already in commercial radio. It was just persistence. That's what the hybrid network is. And some people, I mean, it's smart. You can't burn out in this job.
Yeah.
It just depends on how you handle these things. But it is, they do use it, you know, it's a part of the newspaper.
Okay.
Folks with half their head shaved and dyed purple and their noses pierced. But that is the hottest spot in town. So trendy it doesn't even have a name. It just goes by its street address, 616. As I said, Sun Studios, new rising young star Carl Perkins. So after just 1 year with Sun Records and releasing only 5 records on the Sun label, Sam Phillips sold Elvis Presley's recording contract to RCA. But it is now back in operation as a recording studio. Some of the people who've recorded there in the last few years include Ringo Starr, Bonnie Raitt, Melissa Etheridge, B.B. King, U2, Def Leppard, Aerosmith. But like I said, they mainly record there for the historical value. This is Danny Thomas Boulevard here. The only other street in the city named for a popular entertainer besides Elvis. It's like Sam and Dave, Booker T and the MGs, the Staple Singers, Isaac Hayes. Stack Studio is out of business and long gone these days, but the Stack Studio sign that hung in front, the famous neon Stax-O-Wax, that sign is on display at the Rum Boogie Cafe on Beale Street. So when we visit Beale Street today, you might want to pop in there and take a look at that. Memphis's musical heritage runs wide. The house is fully restored and open for tours. They run a very short tour schedule, as you can see, just a few hours each day. It's mainly used as an educational facility. It's part of the